Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Lawrenceville, Georgia, on the campus of Georgia Gwinnett College. We are live from the Grizzly Baseball Complex for the Lawrenceville bracket of the opening round, and we are at Game 8 between the Georgia Gwinnett Grizzlies and the Freed-Hardeman Lions. Matt Mahoney alongside John Peters here. John, these two teams met just yesterday, but the top two seeds left in this bracket. Everyone else has been eliminated, and one team left to go to the World Series in Lewiston, Idaho.
Pitching for the Lions is number 44, Houston High. Batting third, the left fielder, number 21, Ajay Sczepkowski.
John, the circumstances are this. The Grizzlies one win away from punching their ticket to the World Series. Meanwhile, Freed-Hardeman has to win this game tonight in order to force the if necessary game that's tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. And on top of the mound, to answer your question, John, Freed-Hardeman will go to number 44 in Houston High, a sophomore, 6'5", and a Nashville, Tennessee. And he will try to take on this red-hot Georgia Gwinnett offense that's outscored its opponents in the opening round 39-5. Ponder, Norton, Sczepkowski, Quelch, McGuire, Smith, the DH, Caden Smith, then Dingus, Wilbanks, and Pacheco rounds out the lineup. John Ponder with a high chopper behind the bag at second. Nice effort by the second baseman and Smith, and he'll get the speedster and John Ponder for out number one.
Well, I will tell you,
Georgia Gwinnett, a high-octane offense. There is no stat that says who leads the nation in offense. You know, it's not like, there's a lot of different stats in baseball, right, John? But cumulatively, have a peek at this. Georgia Gwinnett leads the offense in the following categories nationally: runs, hits, doubles, triples, home runs, runs batted in, extra base hits, total bases, sacrifice flies, sacrifice hits, and stolen bases, averaging more than 12 runs per game for Jeremy Scheidinger's squad.
I'm trying to come up with another category. I don't know if there is. Maybe a hit by pitch. That might be one.
And so this team
unbelievable
leads the nation in a ton of offensive categories, and that will be the tasks for Houston High. Today, Sczepkowski, your first and only NAIA player ever to hit 30 home runs and have 30 stolen bases. I'm even going to put the Little League World Series ahead in there because Major League Baseball had become stale and slow and boring and analytical, and even I'm a baseball guy, it was hard to sell him. Sczepkowski goes down on strikes, by the way. Houston High, with a big feather in the cap there, takes down an NAIA Player of the Year candidate.
Well, the answer to our question about pitching has been answered pretty well here as High has come in. 6'5", lanky, got a lot of action around as he releases.
Coach's box. Introduction here for Houston High. Sophomore right-handed pitcher making his 14th appearance of the season. What he lacks in starts with only 2, he has experience out of the bullpen with 23 innings pitched, giving up just 23 hits, 20 runs, only 18 of those were earned, 22 walks and 17 strikeouts, as he has a 6.94 ERA. Up with his inventory sheet of, all right, how are we going to get 27 outs in this ball game? Norton's on the move, but so is Quelch. He's headed back to the dugout. Houston High is your early answer for the Lions with back-to-back strikeouts to end the threat in the first. And so, John, when you get the ball in a game like this for Houston High, his fellow pitchers might be a little depleted. They might have done inventory. You may know what's behind you. You may not know what's behind you. What's the mentality for Houston High? Is he thinking, I've got to go complete game shutout here to win this game? What's it like on top of the mound?
He probably can't help but think that, but I think the ideal thing would be to go one inning at a time. Maybe even one batter at a time. You've got tough hitters. I don't know how much time they've spent scouting the Grizzlies, but nice. He's doing a good job. Let's put it that way.
So, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Bottom of the third inning we go. Grizzlies find themselves down 4-0. And, John, that is a stark contrast from the 99 runs that the Grizzlies have scored in the month of May over the course of 2 postseason tournaments. The conference tournament, the Grizzlies outscored the CAC 60-5, and now the 2 days in the opening round, Georgia Gwinnett has outscored their opponent 39-5 for a combined total 99-10 in May. it is a big deal to be the last 2 teams remaining in the opening round, because we kind of coined Wednesday moving day, because 2 teams are moving out of the hotel going home,
right,
and 3 teams are moving on to Wednesday. And so we kind of got that out of sorts a little bit with the rain last night, and we kind of carried it over today. And so the dust has settled a little bit on what was moving day. And now you're one of the top 2 teams. And, John, taking a step further, of the 10 opening right sets across the country, this is the equivalency of the Sweet 16 in basketball. That is a big deal, regardless of how today goes.
Yes, this is a great honor, and these 2 teams have fought. I mean, you look at the Lions; they were on the ropes. They had a standing 8 count going.
Ponder puts this one in play. The shortstop, and Sanders ranges to his left and makes a nifty little grab for round number 2. To motivate them, to move them up the rank, to get to the next level, right. It's part of it too as well. 1-2, Norton off the end of his bat into the glove. Sun has set for the most part here as the shadows start to engulf the Grizzly baseball complex. Norton fists one over to short there. Sanders got to throw it over to first, and it's in time. And the Freed-Hardeman dugout explodes.
There it was. You called it. You called it.
Right now, it's Freed-Hardeman is the last elimination team left. They're looking to force the if necessary game tomorrow at 11 a.m., and right now, they are looking good next to a 7-0 lead as we go to the home half of the 4th. Ajay Sczepkowski will lead things off for Georgia Gwinnett, Mr. 30-30. And again, if you haven't heard, yesterday Sczepkowski hit his 30th home run of the season, becomes the only NAIA player ever to hit 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. And to take it a step further, John, there's only been one other college baseball player ever, Division I, Division II, Division III, or the NAIA for that matter, that has had a 30-for-30 season.
I think you told me yesterday.
I was gonna play the game with you
I remember.
Who is it?
I drew his name out, and it was J.D.
Yes, indeed. In the 90s, J.D. Drew in 1997 for an institution we won't mention.
Oh boy!
That went 30 for 30 with 30 with that one school.
Oh boy!
In the Panhandle, Sczepkowski hits this one hard to left field, but it'll be tracked down by Ratliff and retired for round number 1 World Series every year, year after year. Yeah. JD was one of the best college baseball players ever to do it. I back to the archives and realized that, man, he's the only college baseball player to ever do 30-30.
Charleston Southern last year.
That's right.
And
this is not your first time calling one of his games, John.
When Burt Reynolds was there.
Wow,
that's
back in the day.
Yeah, now Burt Reynolds probably wasn't his name at that point, but
Joe Quelch will swing and miss at a breaking ball, and Houston High records 2 outs here in the 4th, and he right now is the high note for this Freed-Hardeman team. John, it's one thing to be up 7-0 against the Grizzlies. It is a completely different task to shut them out through 3 2/3 innings of work on a team that's averaging 12 runs per game on the season.
And only 1 hit.
And again, we've got some stats here. I was going to try to paint the picture for you how well Georgia Gwinnett played yesterday, but it might hurt some feelings. Because the Grizzlies and Braxton McGuire went 3 for 4 yesterday with a pair of doubles, and McGuire himself scored 5 runs versus this Freed-Hardeman team yesterday in what was a lopsided 18-1 affair. 21-4. 21-4. The Grizzlies beat the Lions.
I'm wondering if Houston High just didn't even come and watch, so he wouldn't know about that.
Ignorance is bliss.
Just stay away.
1-1 offering. Clips the outside, or misses on the outside corner. 2-1.
He doesn't look like he saw that game because he's pitching as if he's an all-star, and this is just a group that he's pitching with.
He looks very comfortable and efficient out there for the Lions. Houston High, quite efficient. 3 2/3 innings of work, John, on just 37 pitches.
And right now, he's putting that ball pretty much where he wants. That's a first walk. I think there was one other walk early on. And so he has been very efficient. I've had a lot of 1 or 2 pitch outs.
So McGuire hangs out at first, and this will bring up Caden Smith. Smith takes a tough breaking ball and finds himself in a hole 0-2. A stunned Georgia Gwinnett crowd right now finds themselves on the short end of the scoreboard at 7-0. Meanwhile, a reinvigorated Freed-Hardeman squad finds themselves having all the reasons to put their hands together. Looking for another reason to stand up and applaud their Lions. 0-2, high delivers, swung on, loop to the left side, but up and out of play. Chest and starts again. McGuire stays still. Breaking ball. Smith checked his swing, didn't matter. Breaking ball broke in beautifully. Houston High picks up his 4th strikeout of the outing, and the Lions fans are on their feet and putting their hands together. They blanked the Grizzlies through 4. 7-0 your score. We head to the 5th on the Grizzly Digital Network. I can't overemphasize this enough. 99-10, the Grizzlies are outscoring their opponents in the month of May. They're on a 21-game winning streak. They haven't lost since March. They're the 1 seed in the Lawrenceville bracket, and some, John, has Georgia Gwinnett as the number 2 national seed in the tournament. Will Banks swings at the first pitch he sees. Smithson over to Sanders for 1. The turn is in time. Houston High and the Lions are riding high right now. 4-6-3 double play erases the leadoff single, and Freed-Hardeman's 1 out away from getting right back in the dugout just earlier this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Pacheco turns this around, sharply hitting the center field. Back goes Presley, still running, makes the running catch in center field. Freed-Hardeman riding high off the right arm from Houston High. 7-0 your score. We go to the 6th on the Grizzly Digital Network. Once again, Houston High on 44 pitches through 5 innings of work with 4 strikeouts and 1 walk back on the bump versus Point Park. That game was played at University of the Cumberlands. John Ponder wants to change that stat and delivers a single up the middle.
Lewis Clark.
So now Kyle Norton, who has one of the Grizzlies' 3 base hits in this contest. And again, we dig that up to put things in perspective for how well Houston High is pitching in this contest. This is not something you see here in Lawrenceville, Georgia, from a pitcher not wearing a Grizzly uniform. Georgia Gwinnett leads the nation in about every single offensive category, but they're being shut out at home in the opening round. They get the leadoff runner aboard for the first time tonight with Ponder.
Hardeman is fantastic.
3-2 offering. Ponder stays put. Norton, high chopper, right side. Smithson, high hop, gloves it, throws it to first, not in time. First time tonight the Grizzlies have had 2 base runners aboard in the same inning. Runners at first and second. I'm going to say this, but everyone knows the answer. Toughest decision for any head coach. Do you bunt with your best hitter? And that answer here is absolutely not.
Yeah. You almost chuckle to think about that, because the 30 home runs,
Swinging away here for Ajay Sczepkowski. Down by 7 in the 6th. High, delivers. Misses off the plate. Sczepkowski checked his swing. Home plate umpire is going to punch him up. Houston High has been efficient today to the point that we're in the 6th. He's throwing a shutout, and there's no activity in the bullpen. 0-1. Checked his swing once again, and the home plate umpire will punch up Ajay Sczepkowski on a breaking ball in the dirt. 0-2. Ajay Sczepkowski is one of 2 players in the country that I know is being considered for National Player of the Year. Not Player of the Week, not Player of the Month, Player of the Year is the best in the country. 429 batting average, 30 home runs, 36 stolen bases, 17 doubles, even 5 triples, 96 RBIs. 0-2. Fastball right down the middle. It freezes Sczepkowski. High picks up his 5th strikeout of the evening.
Maybe the biggest right there.
The starter comes set and delivers. Swing and a miss. Got Joe Quelch a little bit out in front on the off-speed stuff. Count out 1-2.
Well, you're right in the middle of the order here too, Matt. No fear from Houston High.
Versus Quelch. Swung on, aired out to right. Is it deep enough? Kelly tracking toward the line, coming in. Ponder tags. Kelly drops it. It's a fair ball. Ponder scores. Norton with a green light. He'll score. Quelch now stuck in a rundown between second and third. The tag will be applied. It gets away into right field. Quelch is still alive. Gets up to his feet. Goes to third. And the shutout has been avoided for Georgia Gwinnett in the sixth.
Well, let's see. Can we review that? And you see in here Dale Long trying to figure out how do we play this out. I'm not so sure it was ever touched out in right field.
Kelly just completely overran it in right. Quelch is going to get a double out of this, I think, as well as 2 RBIs. So it looks like Quelch is going to be able to stay on the base path. It might have had something to do with the ball going down the right field line. I don't think it ended up in the tarp, but maybe it got trapped somewhere. And so a dead ball situation, Quelch is not allowed to go to third. He didn't have the bag, so he'll stay at second. Houston High has now crossed over 60 pitches. This is one of his longest outings of the season. He's only got a couple of starts under his belt in what is 15 appearances. Majority of them out of the bullpen. 1-0. McGuire, healthy hack there as High goes with a fastball, 1-1. Houston High, his longest outing of the season was 4 innings of work in the conference tournament versus Cumberland University. Today, he's into the 6th.
And you have the what-ifs of what if that ball had been caught in right field. That was a ball that you would think would be caught.
2-2. McGuire shoots one back up the middle. What would have been a guaranteed base hit, but Sanders playing the shift up the middle, does a nice job of knocking it down in the infield. McGuire keeps the inning going for the Grizzlies as Quelch advances to third.
Another play that is a little bit unusual for this defense right here.
So the second error of the ballgame is charged to Sanders, and it's phenomenal as the Lions middle infielders have played in this contest. They're actually toughly charged with 2 errors.
Yeah, this is unusual that a couple plays here right in a row. I mean, you've had out in right field a very unusual play, just overrunning the ball.
Smith is your hitter. Swing and a miss on the off-speed stuff, 1-1.
Chip away at it, and that's what they're doing right here.
1-1 offering, fastball freezes Smith, 1-2.
Still had a good pop on that one.
1-2. Swing and a miss. It gets away from Libla. Quelch comes in to score, and Smith will be safe at first. Smith wants to take the bag at second if Libla wants to throw, and he's going to put it in his back pocket. So it's a strikeout to Caden Smith, and a pass ball gets 2 more runners in scoring position, and the runs played, and it's 7-3.
Unbelievable turn of events here, starting with that ball down the right field line. Then you had the ball up the middle. I will point this out as well, and I know you know this, Matt. Houston High has not been responsible for this outbreak. Houston High has continued to pitch well. It has been the defense which has really let him down and allowed these runners to get on base and to score.
And so 2 runners aboard and 1 out. Lions lead 7-3 over the top-seeded Grizzlies here in the Lawrenceville bracket. High staying in this game. Off-speed pitch misses low as Dingus takes it all the way to the mitt for a ball, 1-0. Brett Dingus, 378 hitter, 7 doubles, 3 triples, 25 RBIs, and 44 runs scored.
Look at this. Say this. The tying run is in the on-deck circle.
Whew, we did not think we'd be here. 1-0. Dingus takes that one for a strike there, 1-1 on the top shelf. Georgia Gwinnett 26-8 all-time in the opening round in our brief 11-year history of playing this beautiful game of baseball. The 8th time as host, and they're 9 for 9 in making a national tournament in our short history. 1 ball, 1 strike. High delivers in. Breaking ball. Dingus gives this a shot. Back goes Ratliff. Looking up at it. The bullpen wants to catch it. The bullpen will get it. A 3-run home run, Brett Dingus, and the Grizzlies have growled and scratched and clawed their way back into this contest. They find themselves down 1 in the 6th.
And the celebration begins. And the little white moth hovers around the plate as well. Maybe that's the good luck moth.
Catcher, number 38, Cohen Wilbanks.
Brett Dingus launches one to left field, your unlikeliest candidate to hit a long ball, in which Georgia Gwinnett has had a total of 82 home runs this season. That's Dingus's first.
How about that? You just picked the right time to do it.
Again, the longest outing of the season is this one right here by Houston High. He has amassed his previous total, which was 4 innings in the conference tournament versus Cumberland University. He's gone 5 1/3, and now it's 75 pitches on the night.
Yeah, that one blast, Dingus, boy, that
one fouled off the front foot of Wilbanks. Actually ricochets toward the pitcher and high. No objection from the Grizzly dugout. Or Wilbanks, maybe it hit off the plate.
Just a strange bounce, wasn't it?
Sure did. And so Wilbanks will be retired on a 1-3 putout. Come to life in the 6th. High delivers. Pacheco hits this one high. Houston thinks he can have it. He'll call everybody off, and the pitcher will make the catch on the mound for out number 3. But not before the Grizzly offense comes to life with their usual 6th spot in the 6th. We'll head to the 7th here on the Grizzly Digital Network. Houston High here in the 7th. Swung on, loop to the right side. Long way to go for Kelly. He struggled with this last inning, and he struggles again, but makes the catch this time. Houston High has crossed the 90-pitch threshold here in the 7th. And there's now a couple of heartbeats down there in the Lions bullpen, but nobody seems too interested in warming up. Norton puts down a bunt on the first base side here. First baseman Rooney forgets to glove it. And so Norton slides into the bag at second. He'll be safe. Gets a high five from Tommy G. And a hustle play for the 6'5" first baseman on an infield bunt here in the bottom of the 7th. And this has been the 0-2 quiet Ajay Sczepkowski.
Yeah, you see the great quote at the beginning of World War II where the Japanese said they've awakened a sleeping giant. Now he does bunt. How about that?
Sczepkowski will bunt, throw down to second base. Coming back down on top of the bag is a shortstop and the shortstop and Sanders.
Yeah, we kind of kidded about him bunting earlier and thinking that wouldn't happen, but he did. And you could tell he probably doesn't do it too often.
And he was trying to push it to the right side, but angled it right back toward high. And so 2 out. Sczepkowski and his 36 stolen bases hang out over at first base with Joe Quelch at the plate. High. Delivers in. Ball in the dirt. Sczepkowski wants to take second. Throw down to second base. They get Sczepkowski. The catcher has been remarkable this whole week for the Lions.
Wow.
And Mason Liba guns down Sczepkowski, and we move to the 8th. Lions with a 1-run lead on the Grizzly Digital Network.
For the Grizzlies.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to Lawrenceville, Georgia. Defensive shifteroo for Freed-Hardeman. It's going to be the new center fielder in Dawson Massengale that pushes Christian Presley to left field and switches Baron Ratliff over to right. Meanwhile, Houston High back on the bump for the 8th inning.
Looks like 92 pitches coming into it.
Behind Houston High, whose longest outing of the season was during the conference tournament. It was 4 innings. Here he's into the 8th. First is Georgia Gwinnett trying to protect a 1-run lead. Gwinnett, if they're able to come back in this contest, they'll punch their ticket to the World Series. Quelch is on the move. McCall's on the throw, and it's in time to get the Grizzly right fielder for round number 1. First pitch, hits for a strike 0-1.
I said a little slower. That had some pop on it. Still here in the 8th inning.
Georgia Gwinnett has made 5 trips to the World Series all time. They've been the last 4 consecutive seasons dating back to the 2018 year. And as a 1 seed here in the Lawrenceville bracket, the expectations are to get back to Idaho for the 5th consecutive season. McGuire takes that one for a ball, 1-2.
You think you know what's going to happen, and the next thing, there's a big change.
McGuire ropes this over to first. Long way to go for Rooney. McGuire trying to beat it out, and he can't. McGuire thought he beat it out with a head-first slide, but a nice play by Houston High to get over there in time for out number 2. 1-1 offering. Off-speed pitch, floats in there for a strike, 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. High shakes once. Now ready to go on the second sign. Deuces wild, trains are coming. Fastball freezes Caden Smith. Houston High and the Lions take a 1-run lead into the 9th. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll have it for you here on the Grizzly Digital Network. The stage is set here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Freed-Hardeman will send out their starter. Houston High looking for this biggest accomplishment of his career. A complete game victory on the road in an elimination contest versus the host in Georgia Gwinnett. Trying to preserve a 1-run lead to force the if necessary game. He'll face the bottom of the lineup as Brent Dingus will dig in. Houston High, 105 pitches on the night, and a memorable moment here, and one he will never forget. A career-long outing against one of the top seeds in the nation. 1-2. That misses in the dirt. There's that changeup. 2-2.
We used the term earlier, Matt, the pitcher was effectively wild. And so sometimes you see that ball that's not even close, and then the next time you're frozen on a really beautiful pitch.
Two balls, 2 strikes. High. Word on Dingus. Leadoff batter of the 9th. 2-2. Dingus hits it hard toward the shortstop. Sanders fields it on the wrong foot, but throws it over to first, and a nice dig by Rooney to get out number 1. The bottom of the 9th. Here comes Devin Warner, pinch hitting for Wilbanks. Warner, first team all-conference selection, 6'4" to Cartersville, Georgia. Was the penned-in third baseman all year long for the Grizzlies. Hit .350, including 11 doubles, 2 triples, 13 home runs. 54 RBIs and 45 runs scored. Warner, the switch hitting third baseman into the left side versus High from the right. Warner nubs it toward the shortstop, and he's got a flat tire. He's going to try his best to get down the line, but that's out number 2.
I don't know if he heard it on the swing. Yeah, you just hate to see that.
Yeah, that was a situation of Warner's going to have to put that ball in the outfield, and we'll take the single any way we can get. I don't think that's a re-injury of that hamstring. It's just kind of left over from what was a pulled hamstring last week.
I think if he had a line drive to the outfield on one hopper, they might still have thrown him out because he was really hurting.
So now with 2 outs in the 9th, Jesus Pacheco's the last chance for the Grizzlies. Freed-Hardeman looking to sleep good at the hotel in Lawrenceville one more night. Fastball misses, 1-0. Pacheco 0 for 3 in this contest. 2 flyouts to center and a flyout to the pitcher.
Just trying to get on. Make contact, punch it through.
1 ball, no strikes. High delivers. Pacheco tomahawks that one foul. Count 1-1.
That's how far out in front.
Grizzlies need a run here in the 9th to push things to extras. Pacheco, the last chance for Georgia Gwinnett. High fires. Breaking ball right back up the middle. Loops over towards Smithson. He botches it. What was a sure out, number 27, and a guaranteed, if necessary, game tomorrow is now the second error by the sure-handed Smithson. The Grizzlies have a little bit of life left.
Well, if you're Freed-Hardeman, you're thinking, are we snake bit right here? A little ball that looked like a pretty easy play. Went right between the legs.
So Pacheco passes the bat to John Ponder. Pacheco represents the tying run over at first as John Ponder steps to the plate. In the category of things that Dale Long only knows, John Ponder, a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 7th at home versus Clark back on March 4th as the Grizzlies won 7-6. Ponder steps to the plate here in the bottom of the 9th.
A little maybe deja vu here, man. I don't know. Everybody should be on their feet. Let's put it that way.
Pacheco, quality runner over at first. 19 stolen bases on the season. Ponder jumps over the first pitch he sees and laces one to left. Pacheco, aggressive turn at second, but he's having to concede to the single. Grizzlies have 2 runners aboard in the 9th.
First baseman,
and again, Pacheco must score to give us at least the 10th. If Ponder scores, the Grizzlies are World Series bound. Kyle Norton's your hitter.
I'm trying to remember how many. We're up about 120 to 125 on the pitch count, I would say.
115 for High. Check swing for Norton. Back to High. He'll run it over to first. Freed-Hardeman forces game number 9.
How about that? You see that at second base, there's a hug from the shortstop Sanders to his second baseman Smithson saying, hey, you made that error, but your team is going to come through.
After the Lions lost to Georgia Gwinnett 21-4 yesterday, the Lions had their season on the line in the 9th versus Concordia, and they come away with a 6 spot versus the Bulldogs. They jump out to a 7-0 lead versus the Grizzlies, and they'll try to sleep tonight at the hotel in Lawrenceville. But I wonder if either one of these teams wouldn't just say, let's line it back up tonight. We got lights. Let's play in Lawrenceville.
I know one player who's going to sleep really well, and that's Houston High. And whatever pitchers you have left, well, think about this, Matt, too. Used one pitcher tonight for Freed-Hardeman. All the other pitchers got to rest tonight. Now, they pitched some today, but they're going to have some rest to come back tomorrow.
Houston High, a career performance out of him, a complete game victory. His 2nd win of the season, just 2-0 on his 3rd start and his 14th appearance. John, in the first, we talked about coaches taking that inventory. Try somehow to lane the plan calmly tonight. That inventory will happen once again tomorrow. But because of Houston High's performance, he has flipped both these pitching staffs. For Georgia Gwinnett, without your best 3 arms, without your best bullpen arm, and so both pitching coaches will do that inventory tomorrow, and we'll gather that information the best that we can at 11 a.m. for the if necessary game between Freed-Hardeman and Georgia Gwinnett.
Yeah, the bats of the Grizzlies, that's the difference here, I believe. I think tonight was an aberration for them. I don't know if, statistics in baseball can go up and down, but if you look at what you talked about earlier, the statistics overall would say they're going to come out tomorrow. There's going to be some real hitting that takes place.
Folks, we will encourage you all to come back 11 a.m. tomorrow morning for the game-deciding Lawrenceville bracket championship showdown between the top 2 seeds and Georgia Gwinnett and Freed-Hardeman. The books will be balanced 9 innings. The winner goes to Lewiston, Idaho. You don't want to miss it.
There you are. Hey, you've laid it out pretty well, man. I can't add anything to that. And folks, you come out here, you've worked all season, 57, 58, whatever, how many games it is. and there's one game now between you and the World Series.
Will it be the 3rd World Series appearance for Freed-Hardeman or the 5th for Georgia Gwinnett? You're going to have to come back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. to find out. For our entire cast and crew from Lawrenceville, Georgia, he's John Peters. I'm Matt Mahoney. We're going to go take a nap, and we'll see you tomorrow morning here on the Grizzly Digital Network.